So I just got home from work right now, and I just wanted to let you guys know is that not humans, but, well, yeah, humans in part, but Americans are just not a very bright people. And I'm not assuming, but I'm saying Americans because I live in America. I live in the United States of America, and so I only see what I see here. I can't speak for the rest of the world outside of the United States, but I could speak for like America and Mexico because my ethnicity is Mexican. But what I'm telling you right now is this: it's just the level of ignorance. And I don't just say ignorance because they're ignorant, but it's willfully ignorant people in America. The majority, I would say about 60% to 75% of Americans are willingly ignorant. And so the American government has caught on to that. They've caught on to that, how easily these people can be bamboozled into stupidity because they're too afraid to wake up and realize and smell the coffee that the world is heading in a bad direction, not in a prosperous direction. And so they get scared, and so they try to block these things out of their mind and not think on them and just distract themselves with pleasure or worldly pleasures, whether it may be going to the club to dance, drink, smoke, men, women to have pleasure with. People distract themselves with social media, with food, with going out to events, to distract themselves from the reality that the world is not heading in a prosperous direction. And so people get scared when you face them with the truth, when you confront them with the truth and the facts of what's going on. It has gotten so out of hand lately that the American government is basically laughing at their citizens because the things that they're pulling off is a joke. It is a complete joke. It's so transparent to see that what they're doing is to further whatever agenda they may have, which is not a good one. It's for control, it's for power over your life and your freedom of consciousness. But anyways, the reason I'm saying this is because if you really think about it and you look at our history, why do you think that our ancient history is so mysterious? It's not. There's been archaeological findings and there's been new discoveries showing us that our ancient past, our ancient civilization was very advanced, but yet they don't speak of this in the mainstream media, and archaeologists are actually being censored to not speak about these things because it will enlighten people to think outside the box, and they don't want you to know your history so that you can repeat it again. But there's a very old book that clearly states the condition of the world, and it states the condition of the world also in the end times. And you already know what book I'm speaking of when I say end times. And this book clearly states that everyone is in continuous towards evil. And a lot of people don't want to believe this because they still have unresolved issues with their spiritual side. They do not understand their spiritual side, even though yet they have a soul, they have thoughts, they have a subconscious, they have dreams. Even though people realize these things, they still won't admit that there is a spiritual power at work, to not be so direct. And the funny part is that since people are not in tune with their spiritual side, because all they've been brought up their whole life is to live on the physical, on what you can see, touch, and feel, and actually have been taught by society to neglect their spiritual side. By this, I mean their self-healing, their self-journey, their self-love. It's hard for them to understand the things of the spirit. And that's where I'm leading to. That's why people get so scared when they realize that the world is not truly heading in a good direction. And they don't want to hear it. Why? Because they themselves are not okay with themselves to not be so direct. So, what do you do and what do you say when you go on social media, on the typical news or on the newspaper, and all you see is just plain distraction and stupidity by society of the trends and whatever is in style and whatever is going viral? If you notice all these sectors, it's all stupidity. Really, like the Haktua girl. Like, think about it. The things that are going viral are stupid. Nothing of enlightenment or of intelligence, really. So what do you do and what do you say when you see these patterns? How do you speak out? Because if you speak out what you feel, people get scared. They don't want to hear it. They discredit you and they'll find any reason under the sun to not pay attention or not think about it. You know, like food for thought. So, anyhow, I just wanted to go on this little rant because I'm seeing some of the things that the algorithm promotes on the feed, and it's just ridiculous. It really is. People are just so willingly blind that they cannot see that the government literally is playing their finger in their mouth. And Americans are allowing it because they rather have a finger in their mouth than to actually wake up and smell the coffee and realize that they need to fix their spiritual life to truly feel free and at peace. It's harder for people to do that because they themselves don't want to change, because they themselves still covet certain pleasures and certain habits that are not in tune with their self-love, of loving yourself, your thoughts, your mind, what goes into your mind, what comes out of your mouth, taking care of your heart, your organs, your body, your looking out for the other humans that you interact with. You know, if the other human is interacting in bad habits and you go join them, do you really care about them? You don't. But when you have spiritual healing and self-love falls into your heart, then that self-love will emanate out towards others, and you will love others accordingly, and you will look out for their best interest instead of taking advantage of people, instead of lying to people, instead of mistreating people. So the whole perspective changes when you do the inner work, and the inner work leads to that higher path, which a lot of people have a great misconception of because they listen to the mainstream media. They listen to whatever is popular instead of doing their own research and seeking for themselves. Anyways, that's all I got to say, guys. It's just a little rant. It's 9 minutes already. But anyhow, that's all I got to say. Peace!